This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Watch, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with Matt Ogens about his film Audible, which earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Documentary Short. How are you today, Matt?
I'm good. I'm good. It's really surreal and humbling, and mostly just kind of reflecting. It took 12 years to get this film made, and it's really personal for me. I live near the Maryland School for the Deaf, which is the location of the film. And my best friend is deaf since I was a kid. So it's been this kind of uphill journey to get it made. So it's really humbling, and especially for the kids in the film and the deaf community, it means a lot.
That's great. It's also a great year for films about the deaf community because we also have Coda getting some high-profile nominations. What was it that took so long to be able to make this film and have it come to fruition?
I'm sure many things. I mean, for me, when I started trying to make it 10, 11, 12 years before we went into production, there weren't as many opportunities for documentaries. There weren't as many platforms. And I think the world caught up to how special documentary storytelling is, and opened their eyes and ears, literally for Audible and metaphorically. I think that's part of it. And, people as of late recognizing inclusion and accessibility and equality and empathy are important, especially with such divisiveness in the world. So timing.
And a lot of your previous work has focused on sports. Was it nice to sort of unite these passions?
Yeah, I mean, I just do and have done a lot more than sports. It's certainly become a recurring role sometimes. And what's funny is I'm not a sports fanatic, but I love sports as a metaphor. There's a literalness to the ups and downs of a game in a season, but so metaphorical and symbolic of the ups and downs of life, particularly in the case of Amari and his friends in Audible.
And who do you think would benefit most from seeing this film?
Gosh, I mean, I like to think we made the film for the deaf audience as much or even more so than a hearing audience, and that I hope that the deaf community sees a reflection in some form of themselves. Certainly, we're not claiming this is the definitive film on deaf community. This is Amari's personal story, Jalen's personal story, Lyra's personal story, Teddy's personal story. But hopefully there's some similarities and reflections, and for the hearing audience, especially understanding, learning, being curious, creating opportunities. Also not always making it about the deaf community. This is just Amari's story. It's a coming of age journey of teenagers who happen to be deaf. In the film, one aspect of it is football, and Amari's a football player. They're good not for being deaf. They're good and happen to be deaf. And yeah, we're all the same, right?
And what is it like having this film on a widely accessible platform like Netflix?
Really incredible. And more than that, behind the scenes, they, as much as me, were really sensitive to accessibility. Subtitles and closed caption more than I've experienced before. Of even Niall DeMarco, who's one of our executive producers, who's deaf and actually went to Maryland School for the Deaf and is a deaf advocate and activist. The timing of subtitles, how they came up in line with the sign language, it's different than in other languages. Sometimes he'd push me to go further, sometimes pull back, let's say it this way. I think he really meant that. Those kinds of things. And with Netflix too, getting granular, if it is played publicly, on a screen, we do open captions because inevitably there may be a deaf person in the audience, and we want that to be accessible. So you're going to see open captions, you're going to see the closed captions up on the screen, and lots of options on service on Netflix and in many countries. So, and also even we have a audio narration if for the blind.
Wow, that's really great. Well, thank you so much for making this film, and congratulations on your Oscar nomination. Anyone watching should make sure to check out Audible, now streaming on Netflix.
Thank you so much, Abe. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Matt. Great to meet you.
Bye.